Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in. My name is Shawna with World of Washaba, and on this channel I talk about our homeschool journey with my 6-year-old twins and my 8-year-old twins. And man, this is our 3rd year homeschooling, and I feel like I'm still new to it because my kids are so little, and we've made a ton of mistakes. And that is what this video is going to be on. My 3 of my mistakes, how I've overcome them. This is a collaboration hosted by my sweet friend Ashley over at Joyful Noise Learning. So definitely go check out her YouTube channel. She's hilarious, and I know that you will be blessed to see her content. The rest of the ladies that are participating in this collaboration will be in a playlist in the notes section. So definitely go and check out all of these videos, because if you are, I know things going on in the world right now, there's a lot of people thinking about homeschooling. So I feel like these videos are really great to come out at this time. You may be on the fence and you're worried about the mistakes you might make, the challenges that you might face. Don't worry. Life is not without challenge and mistakes. That's how we learn and grow. So before I get into my 3 top homeschooling mistakes, and I could do a video on probably like 500 easily. I just want to say, if you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. If you enjoy this video, enjoy this content, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button right there, and hit the little bell also. That'll notify you when my next videos come up. Let me jump right into homeschool mistake number 1. The first one is aligning with public school mentality. And if you watch my videos, you know I talk about this a lot. And I think that it's very normal when you start out. A lot of people will start out with a virtual school. What it really is your kid sitting in front of a computer and they're going along with the classes, and it's literally school in the house. And a lot of people feel comfortable with that because they're not comfortable with, like, I want to make sure everything is covered and that they're learning what they need to learn. There's nothing wrong with that. And then they kind of branch out because they realize that, we don't really like that. Their kid's not really liking it. So then they do some maybe more co-ops. So their child is still going to somebody else to learn specific subjects that maybe they're not comfortable with teaching. And it's still kind of a classroom setting. Or you're buying the boxed curriculum, and the boxed curriculum is going to tell you at this time you're going to do this, and it's going to last 20 minutes, and then you're going to switch to this one, it's going to last 20 minutes, and then you're going to switch to this, and on Monday, Wednesday, Friday you're going to be doing this, and on Tuesday and Thursday you're going to be doing this, and here's the activities that you're going to be doing. So now you have a boxed public school curriculum in your house, and that works for a lot of people. Not for me. But I think it's very natural when you start to do something like that, because you feel like you can control that, and you know what to expect, and your child knows what to expect. But then, like me, I started branching out and thinking the whole reason why we're homeschooling, well, not the whole reason, there's a million reasons, is because I don't agree with that. I don't agree that learning takes place at a specific time. I don't agree that math should always be at 3 o'clock every day for 30 minutes from lesson 1 to lesson 50 consecutively, because I don't think that that's realistic, and that I don't think that's how our brain is wired. I feel like learning takes place all the time. When I see, like, my son is obsessed with tornadoes, obsessed. So why, if I know tornadoes aren't really hit upon until we get into weather in about 3rd grade, according to the public school standards or whatever, if he's craving everything to do with tornadoes right now, why would I say, okay, I know you love that, but we're not doing that for another 2 years. And then when we do that, we're going to do all these experiments and you're going to have so much fun, but just wait 2 more years. I mean, we can talk about it a little bit here. No, right now, his brain is primed to take in everything having to do with weather and weather phenomenons and hurricanes and tornadoes. He can tell you everything about the EF scale and, the miles per hour. He can tell you where the worst tornadoes happen. He can list all the states in Tornado Alley. He can give you the dates of the worst tornadoes. And what is all that? That is math, that is science, that is history, that is geography, that is reading. He's doing all of that on his own because he has a passion for this. Why would I stand in the way of that? Because we shouldn't be hitting tornadoes until 3rd grade. So that's kind of how I like to think of that. And that's why I want to separate myself from the public school mentality. Same with reading. They want kids to read by 5, in kindergarten, and they want you to know all these sight words. But if you have a child that's struggling with reading, that's going to make you feel kind of insecure. If they're 6 and now 7, oh my gosh, now they're not really reading, and now they're 8. And it's okay. That is still normal. But if you're watching public school, you're going to be so insecure, and you're going to put that pressure on your child. Take that pressure off. Read to them like crazy. Invest in a book like Read-Aloud Family or Read-Aloud Handbook or Honey for a Child's Heart. These are all great books that can, Mem Fox has a really good book too on reading. I'll link these books below, but if you have a child that's struggling reading, a struggling reader, read one of these. If I had to pick one for you to read first, I would probably pick Jim Trelease, the Read-Aloud Handbook. Number 2, schedule. And I kind of already went over this before, where learning can just take place at any time. And again, I think it's perfectly normal for a lot of first-time homeschoolers to want to make a schedule that kind of looks like school. I certainly started out that way, and then I realized real quick that didn't work because you're home. You have things that come up. You have appointments. You have whiny kids. Maybe you're pregnant. Maybe you're going through a divorce. Maybe you lost a loved one. These are all things that are going to affect your homeschool. Maybe you're having a bad day. Maybe weather permitting, it's a gorgeous day and you don't want to be inside doing a math book, right? Go outside. And I've said this in previous videos. When your kids are outside, that's free science that you don't even have to plan out. Anything they are doing outside, science. Filling their curiosity through like playing in the mud and picking up bugs. And it's so healthy to be outside. And that's science. So we started out with a really rigorous schedule because I thought that's the only way that I can teach them and stay on track. Because again, if you watch my previous videos, I am not an organized person at all. Tell me in the comments below if you feel me on that. Like anytime there's something scheduled, it's like I fight against it because I'm like, no, I can't. Like planners die. There's like, I have a graveyard of planners that were never filled out. That's why I make my own. So if you want to see how I do my planner, I will link that up here too. I create my own because I only want to put stuff in it that I literally will use. So anyway, we had to drop the schedule and now we just go on a routine. And now it's even more lenient than that to where I say, I don't even plan anything for the day. I just write down at the end of the day what we did. So it's like a reverse planning, a reverse documentation of what we did. Because if I sit here and put, these are the 10 things that we have to complete today, and we've only completed 3 for whatever reason, now I just feel like a total failure. And now I basically have a record of everything that I've failed at. Who wants to see that? Nobody. So at the end of the day, if I haven't planned anything out, and I know what generally needs to be done, right? I have an overview for the year, and I have check-in points that I want, in this 6 weeks, I want to get this done. In this 6 weeks, I want to get this done, right? But at the end of the day, if I put, we didn't do our math book, but we did play Some Swamp, Cloud Hoppers, and we played another math game, or we played Pandemic together, or so that's a lot of like logic and skills and critical thinking building. We played outside for 3 hours. Again, science. We watched a documentary. We did a whole bunch of read alouds, and I'm listing all these things. Then I kind of see we had a really full day. We did a lot of stuff. And then when I go over that, like at the end of the month, I can see we're a little lacking or we're a little behind where I want to be in this area. And then I'll just be more conscious of it for the next month. But it's been working out so well because there's literally no stress and I can kind of go with how they feel. Because there's some days where on a schedule, I may have planned 20 minutes for math. That can go either way. We could do 20 minutes and I could fight with them through the whole thing. And they are just, it's not a day to do math, right? But I'm like, it's on the schedule. Or there's days when we'll start doing something with math and it lasts an hour because maybe we got to something that's fun and exciting, and they want to just keep doing it. But if we're on a schedule, okay, well, I know you guys are having fun and you're learning and you're just enjoying this so much, but it's really time to transition over to Spanish. You know what I mean? And they're like, go with the flow, right? Go with where your children will tell you what they need, not maybe so much in words, but just by their attitude and their passion and their desire. Yes, there are things that you still need to get to. So I always prefer a routine over a schedule, and even beyond that, the reversed documentation for me. But again, if you are a type A, all this stuff, and you are schedule, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. What I want you to remember is that every homeschooling household is different, and you have to go with what you will be able to stick to. If you won't stick to it, nobody will stick to it. Number 3, sticking to a curriculum. And what I mean by that is, we all buy these curriculums, right? And math and science and English and spelling and all of these things. Don't worry if you don't finish it, or if halfway through, you want to switch to something else. Now, don't be frivolous, you don't want to waste money, but if it's absolutely not working for you, you hate it, your kids hate it, get rid of it, sell it on Marketplace, buy something else used, or trash the curriculum altogether, finish out the year with games or some other kind of interactive thing that you can do to fulfill and keep going with that subject. So for us, like a lot of times we may not do stuff from our math, but we'll play games. Like we play a lot of board games that have a lot of math in it. There's games like Pandemic, Munchkins, those kind of games. It's like +3 to monsters and +4 and -1 to this. And we play Dragonwood, which is amazing. If you like games, check out Dragonwood. It's so great. But all of these have math skills. Same with science. If we started a science curriculum and I was so bored, it was talking about leaves and trees and all of these things, different types of bark. And I'm looking outside and I'm like, look at all of these trees and leaves and bark and all this stuff that's outside. So I just closed the book and I'm like, let's go outside and pick some leaves. I want all of you to go out and I want you to find me 10 leaves that look different. They went out as like a treasure hunt and they were finding, all these different leaves, and we were looking at them, we were comparing them. We were drawing them in a notebook, we were putting them in order of size, the littlest to the biggest. Smell them. Do they smell differently? Do they feel differently? We had so much fun. It was so much better than sitting in our room with our books open and tracing a picture of a leaf and talking about it. And I think that that's so great, because that's life, right? As soon as we graduate, we go out into the world, we don't always have a curriculum to learn everything. How do you learn things? Sometimes you look it up on YouTube, right? Sometimes we Google it and there's a list of things to know about a certain subject. So introduce different ways of learning. So just think outside the box of curriculum. And again, we did that in the beginning. I was like, well, if we're going to do homeschool, we need to have a science book, we need to have an English book, we need to have a math book. And yes, those are great, like foundational pieces, but don't be afraid to go beyond that. Don't be afraid to not finish the book. I don't know of a single teacher, and maybe there's some out there, that ever finished the book at the end of the year. Haven't you ever noticed, like when you were in school, you would skip past sections and they're like, okay, today, you're like, well, why don't we read chapter 3? Because, they're like, well, we're not doing that one. And you don't always have to do everything from page 1 to page 100 and 100% in between. So step outside the box, see what your kids are passionate about, and really find ways to make that come alive for them. So those are 3 of the mistakes that, they're not really mistakes. They were just ways that we learned to do things better, ways that we learned to give more to our kids by thinking outside of the box. But those are just kind of 3 things that we learned from. I hope that was interesting to you. Again, don't forget to check out the playlist of everybody else's mistakes and things that they learned from. And subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notifications, and I will chat with you next time. Bye.